Waiting on the button. Waiting on the button. Good morning. How y'all feeling out there? It is day 11. I'm so excited to be here with y'all. I'm here with my co-host Cameron Calvin,
Good
and
morning.
the world's on fire, but we out here. Okay, we out here doing this 30-day show. Let me know out there. I think it looks like LinkedIn is working today. This has been right. Like we got
That's
to
the
celebrate.
question of the morning
Right,
every
right. Hey, is LinkedIn working today? But it's working. They gonna work it out. They trying. They the like little brother of the going live and the content. They're trying to get it together. Um, I don't know. Okay, so there's a couple things happening. That we got to talk about. I got Karen Hunter here. I'm gonna let her up because we could chop it up all day. I don't know if you saw. Did you see the Fawn Weaver, the Uncle Nearest Jay-Z thing? Did you see that?
the Jay-Z thing. No, I've been
Oh
paying.
God. Okay, we'll have to talk about that. Did you see? Well, there's reports of like people are putting out AI images of what's happening with the war. I mean, we did we not know that was
Yes,
gonna
now
happen
that
though?
I've seen.
Did we not know that was gonna happen? And is that the world we just live in right now? Like it's just to be expected that like anything major happening that there's gonna be this this blowback of like AI images of it because people want to get a piece of it in some way or like I don't know like just soulless people who want to clickbait everything. It's weird. That's weird to me that you would want to put out death and like it just doesn't make sense. But are we hungry for clicks? Are we hungry for clicks in that direction that we're willing to do anything to put those things out? Possibly. Question of the day is what piece of advice have you told everybody else but you are not following yourself?
I know that.
What's yours? What's your question today that you told everybody else but you're not following yourself?
Oh, that's a lot of pieces of advice.
Oh
Post
God.
post on social media every day.
Oh, that's saying something being that you are the former director of digital
No, no,
engagement at
yeah.
the White
I
House.
talk to people. I tell people about that all the time. I don't do it. I try. I post most days, but
I think mine is somewhere in the realm of um something I'm telling people. I thought about this last night because I'm launching something new and a friend of mine, she was talking me through it. And she's like, yeah, just do these three things. And it was something like about your target audience. And I'm like, that's the same thing I tell people. Like, just figure out your target audience and just go ahead and yeah, but I think there's probably other ones. I was thinking that this morning. I always talk about health, but I hate the dentist. Hate the dentist. Can't stand the dentist, y'all. If I
you
if I go to the
you go
dentist,
at all?
I try my best not to, if I can help it. But here's the thing. I have to find the dentist for people who don't like dentists. That is the dentist I'm looking for. And
I
that
think
means
that's
I need
every
some type
dentist.
of drug. That does exist. In DC, in fact.
No,
And
I
since
feel
I've been
like
out
I feel
here,
like that is every dentist.
oh no, it's
Every
not.
dentist knows people don't like dentists.
But not all of them cater to people who don't like them. Some people like y'all don't like me, f y'all. Come get these teeth checked out. That's not that's not everybody. I'm talking about the ones that would give you a Valium just because you coming to visit. Those folks, those are the people that I have to go after because I can't do it. So,
I don't. That just sounds funny to me, but okay.
but yeah, I have to. I can't. You know what it is? I had a really bad experience when I didn't have insurance and I used to go to like a sliding scale, like doctor services. I used to go, have to go. And the doctor side was actually good, but this dentist, it was like that scene on Little Shop of Horrors where he be in there, he like pulling the guy's tooth out, and the tooth was like screaming, the guy screaming like ah.
And then
Oh wait, you
then
for
he
you
gets
you the
eaten.
same age as me, so you might have
Then
seen
he
that.
gets
Good morning, Maria.
then he gets eaten by
Well, eventually he gets eaten, but not in that scene. Oh shoot, I forgot to
um
hit go live on Instagram. All right,
I
there we
want to go
go. My
live.
bad, Instagram folks. But shout out to the morning crew, all logging in. I see y'all. All right, we got a lot to talk about today. I was on yesterday. I had the privilege of being on the Karen Hunter show. And she and I were just talking about business and all the things. Oh wait, she left. I lost her. Oh wait, she's back. Okay. So I had the privilege of being on the Karen Hunter show yesterday, and we were talking, and we actually ran out of time. The conversation got so good at the end that we ran out of time. She was like, well, you know what? I'll just come on a 30-day show tomorrow. And I'm like, let's go. So
Karen. Oh, so Karen Hunter.
yeah, I'm gonna bring it
I
to the
know.
stage. Come to the stage.
I can't wait to meet Karen Hunter.
Oh, you never met Karen before?
Yes, we talk about this all the time.
Oh, okay, that's right. Okay, here we go.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
Yes.
Good morning.
Hi, Cameron.
Hi, Karen. How you doing?
Good. Nice to meet you.
The myth and the legend.
Not either. Completely real. And you know, Omi, you need to only care about having teeth. So it's not about your fear of do you love teeth? Do you love having your head?
I do love having teeth.
You're young now, so you don't have a perspective, but the older you get, that tartar and the gum recession and the plaque that builds up, and I don't care how much your dental routine is, and you floss, you pick, you do all of the things, is not enough. You got to get your teeth cleaned. I do it now every 4 months because I need my heart to be healthy, and I don't want that plaque. And God forbid there's an abscess. And yeah, there are cloves. You can do all kind of natural things, but getting that stuff off your teeth, the diet that we eat, unless you clean your diet completely up, no processed foods, you're gonna have some teeth issues. So I get it, but I want you to have teeth, and you have beautiful teeth. You have a wonderful smile.
Thank you. But then when you put it like that, when you put it in that context, I guess I gotta. So you know what's crazy about out here in LA? There's dentists everywhere.
Yeah, because they love to look good.
There's so many dentists. I'm just like, it's a dentist on every corner. You don't know which one to trust because there's so many. I never seen that before.
It depends what you want. I think like to get your teeth cleaned, kind of everybody can do that.
Well,
now, most people, you don't think so?
Hygienist. I have one. I call her. She's a bit of a Nazi, and then she makes me feel bad. I told her I almost didn't want to come, but she's so thorough. And, you know, she's giving me all of the, videos to watch and the different toothbrushes to, it's like she wants my teeth to be here. And I appreciate her love for my teeth. I did.
I saw this this black guy who's creating this toothbrush. I don't know if y'all saw it, but it's like the toothbrush rolls around instead of like having it just jiggle in place. You know, the current toothbrushes and the way they're made, they just kind of jiggle when you have
they're like micro things.
Yeah, but he's creating one that like rolls in place because he's like, we're all brushing our teeth incorrectly, which I mean, essentially we are. And the thing about it is they taught us in school, at least when I was in school, they used to teach you like the brush up and down. But for some people, I think naturally human brain just makes us do this, but you're really supposed to do this. And I was like, oh, actually that makes sense. But I hope he comes out with it fully. He was talking about it.
We're supposed to do this.
No, we're supposed to do this.
We're supposed to brush at an angle to hit our gum line. We're supposed to brush at an angle to hit our gum line, so that we can.
Yeah, I thought it was like.
Yeah, it's like this.
It's an angle. But anyway, we need to go to Africa because they don't have any teeth problems at all. They don't figured out the chew bark and all of the things. We need to go back to what our ancestors did because they had perfect teeth.
Really? I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, they use a little thing and then they get the bark and then y'all have seen the chew sticks, right?
Yeah. Well, I've seen the ones that that people use here down south, but I don't know if that's the same thing.
Probably. It probably came from the same spirit. Yeah. All right. But that's not why you brought me on to talk.
No. We were But thank you for the input though, because now I'm like, dang, I gotta go. And so when the kids enroll in school here, they actually, last thing on the dentist. When the kids enroll in school here, they actually ask you about their dental health. I never seen that before. That was really interesting to me. And they give them free dental service in school, and then they'll give them like a free dental cleaning in school, and they also give them free glasses, which was awesome because my daughter wears glasses.
They give free glasses? Are they?
Yeah, they gave her free glasses.
Now, the one thing about kids getting free glasses, everything you can be teased about everything. Do they give them cool glasses or do they just give them like standard off the shelf?
You know what? Teasing has evolved.
I know. Are they still doing that?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Because I was asking my daughter, like, do people tease people about glasses? Do people tease people about weight? Do people tease people about clothes? She's like, nah, Mom, we ain't really talking about that. you know. So it's
Or maybe
interesting.
she's not getting teased. Maybe your
Well, I
daughter's
mean,
just
she's in school with people. I think
I think this generation is not bothered with the things we grew up with. Yeah.
no, they're not. They're actually not. Interestingly enough, and I think this is the narratives have not evolved, right? So like I think there's something about like the commentary that we're still having in movies or like TV. I think like cyberbullying stuff is still real. I think the Roblox bullying stuff is still real. So like people, you know, kids, people targeting kids. You know, like that stuff is still real, but what I'm noticing is that she's like, nah, because I'm trying to give her all the commentary that I wish somebody would have gave me. Like, listen, you're beautiful. Don't worry about nothing. You know, she's like, Mom, fine. Like, I know.
I
So
love
I
it.
don't know. It's that. So you know, again, I want to ask you this: what have you seen evolve? Speaking of like evolutions of narratives, over the course of your career, you've seen a bunch of news back and forth. Like, what have you seen evolve in the way we're positioned as Americans? Like, do you think that we are thinking more about our participation, less about participation? Are people tapping in more? Like all the tech and things that are evolving, do you think people are tapping in more to news and politics? Do you think they're tapping out more of news and politics? Like, I think you were a sports writer for a bit too. So like, I'm wondering like how, in terms of civic participation, how have you seen that shift over the course of reporting the news and journalism?
Oh, it's abysmal, but it's also the people reporting the news are abysmal. And there are very few
Mm.
actual real journalists. There are people who want to be TV stars, people who want to be, you know, famous. And they don't have any skills. The editors don't have skills. And then everybody gets to curate their own news. So we're getting even music, right? Like we all had to listen to the same thing on the radio. I mean, Donna Summers was killing it for like an entire year and a half. That whole album, like every morning I'm getting ready for, and everybody had to listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire. And it's like you weren't escaping new music, Michael and Whitney and whatever. Now there are people that don't even know who Whitney Houston is. I'm like,
That's
what?
crazy.
What? They went out to ask some children, who's this? And they couldn't identify Whitney Houston. And that means they also don't know her music, or they may know a couple of songs, but her discography. So it's the same with news. We're getting news where we get, you know, and this was stunning for me. I used to teach journalism, and my students didn't read newspapers. So I'm like, towards the end, where do you get your news? Online, TikTok, Instagram. What? They're not reading any, and these are media majors. These are people who want to be journalists, and they're not getting their news from news sources. So, and most adults aren't either. And you know, I'm grateful that we get to deliver some news, a lot of news, and put perspective on it. But you know, it's kind of sad, and it's why we're in a very civically disengaged. Why 90 million people decided it wasn't important to vote.
I mean, Cam, your whole job was digital engagement at the White House. So
no, I get it, Karen, and I think about it like that in the sense that, is it that we are constantly looking for people to engage the way we used to, or do we have to not only catch up to where they are, but kind of get in front of them? Because there is so much data that shows various demographics are either getting their news from Instagram, like men, for example, over-index into Instagram, women over-index into Facebook and WhatsApp and social groups. There's been a lot of data because the work that I do day to day is on engagement and basically how to find where people are to deliver ads, to deliver content. But it scares me that we are not only not engaging, we're getting our news next to our entertainment, and there's no real difference in your brain, as opposed to I picked up a newspaper to read something, or I went to watch something, and you give your brain a chance to shift your mindset so you can absorb it a different way.
Right.
As opposed to now we are all in a sweeping, I'm laughing, I'm crying, I'm disgusted, I'm intrigued, I'm commenting, all in the same swoop, and like our brains never turning off. And so I feel like news has turned into just the entertainment glomp.
Yeah, we're eating our food out of the toilet.
Ouch.
oh,
Yummy. Not so
Yeah,
yummy.
I'm a visual person, and I was just like, oh, that what my brain went was.
Yeah.
Can we use that? Can we use that again?
Yeah.
Can I use that on stage?
As long as you give me, yes,
I will.
yeah, no, and yeah, this is it. It is, and we don't know
This
it.
is
You
it.
know, we don't know it because the toilet has been here for a while and it might be golden or porcelain and maybe even clean. Some of your toilets are clean. Most of them are not, though. It's still filled. And so, and so once we realize that, you know, the scroll, the scroll is bad. I 2 years ago I thought I was reading. I discovered the audiobook, and I'm an avid reader. And so I started walking more, and I would just pop in my earbuds and listen to books. You know, Frantz Fanon, Howard French. I'm listening to these books, these, you know, Inflamed and Stolen Focus of all things. And I'm listening to these books, and then I picked up a book. Zora Neale Hurston had this book, and I'm reading it. So it's a book about Herod the Great, which is fascinating. One of Zora Neale Hurston, she didn't, you know, finish this book, but she started it. And I picked it up and started reading it, and I was struggling to get through it. And I'm like, am I getting all early onset something? Is something happening like to my brain? I was scared because I've been reading since I could talk, and I couldn't get through a chapter without my mind wandering. And I said, what the F? So then I got angry because I'm like, oh, this cannot go away. I need to. And reading for comprehension, like it's not just, of course, I can see the words and know them, but to really like paint those pictures in my mind the way books are supposed to. And it was in that moment that I was like, I spent a year just listening to books. I have addled something, and these are all muscles. So all we do is scroll, because you think you're even getting your news from the Times, but you're scrolling as opposed to opening a paper and reading. It's like, you know, even the Bible, y'all, you know, y'all get your Bible audio or on a scroll.
Or on the Bible app.
Yeah, on the Bible app. But
Child, now I just search that thing. What I need to say today? What you say? Oh, let me search these. What does this mean? Oh, let me find this.
Yeah, but
find me a scripture about this.
The relationship that your brain has with you digesting information and then critically thinking about it is about sitting and reading and like sitting at a table with a tablecloth and having your meal and chewing and letting it, your saliva and everything do all it. None of that is happening, you know? So we have a nation. It's not anybody's, it is everyone's fault. It's everyone's fault. And at the same time, I think it's by design. And at the same time, we have to be more intentional. But if you don't know, everyone's scrolling. You think you're informed because you just Google search something. But what do you really feel and think about it? And how do your thoughts help you explain to the next person what should be happening next? If you can't really read now, if you can't really digest content and critically think about it, and even process why what you think is wrong, you know. So yeah, we're in a world of hurt, but I'm actually optimistic because I think the baby's coming up. Your daughter's age group, they are tired of the nonsense, and they deserve and they demand direction from us. And so we have to step up and do a better job of making sure that they have all of the things that they need. And that starts with us actually demonstrating that ourselves. And that's what animates me every day. I know that there are children listening. I know that they're out there, and I want to make sure that if they're in the car with their mamas, I'm going, you know, we're going to always tout picking up a book. We're going to always bring our authors. We're always going to have these conversations around illiteracy because we are functionally illiterate with PhDs.
No, that's right. My daughter, my niece is an avid reader. She's 10. Like, she's all about it. Like, she's into it. You know, what's interesting too is like watching these companies say, oh, we need to market to Gen Alpha, which is the Gen Z. We need to figure out how to market to them. They're not figuring it out because they don't want the same things that we have now wanted. It's really interesting because they're almost going in a total different direction than we're going. They don't care about being on the phone for real. I mean, they might do FaceTime or they might like game together over an electronic device, but they don't necessarily care about it as much. You know, I couldn't wait to get a phone. I want to get my own phone. Everybody want to get their own phone. My mom would not let me have a pager. I did not have an own phone. That did not happen in my house. But my cousin did, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And that's because we didn't have phones where we got phones now, right? So I think like that type of thing, or like remembering it's funny when she's asking me different questions about things, and I'm like, oh Lord, you don't even know how we had to wait for songs to come on the radio, how we had to record them with some other type of little device, how we had, like you won't even know what it is. There was something so good about that. Like now, when I think about like all the ways we have access to all the things, there was something so good about it. But okay, yeah, okay, so
But how
y'all.
do we find the good in what we have now?
But
Because
this is
when
where
I
my
hear
question is
us, if I
going.
when I take a step back, I'm like, are we just the three that are just reminiscing on yesteryear?
No,
No,
no, no, no,
no.
no. I think this is
I mean, we talked
micro
about
of what's
fraud
happening.
yesterday. Like we are where we are, but we have a
Mhm.
responsibility to do more, and it's not a big
Mhm.
shift. The kids are going to make it happen anyway. That's how cycles. We have the age of enlightenment, and then it's followed by the dark ages. The cycles happen because there's
Mhm.
such an extreme. We're in an extreme period of time that will be marked in history forever. 1,000 years from now, they're going to be talking about this period of time, from the pandemic to Trump to the war in Iran. This is going to be a period that we talk about, like we talk about World War II or Reconstruction or the freaking Civil War or the freaking, this is that period. So out of this period will be I think it's going to be a move towards analog. I think there's going to be a move towards community. What these young people crave more than anything is not just the human touch, but the human connection. There's going to be more communities cropping up in this time, more people wanting to be together because we spent so much time in a Zoom box on StreamYard, in a box. We're
Yep.
going to be out of the box now, out there. Maybe there's going to be a lot of farming happening. I feel like because we're going to have to feed ourselves because they're poisoning us.
Exactly. It's already happening too. So like there's a lot of there's spaces being built now. It's like no, don't bring any phones in. There's even entertainment rooms where they like lock your phone in the bag, like you get, no phones. Like I think like it's already happening. I'm seeing more people pop up with farms or farming. If you are on social media, there's so many farmers. I love it. They're showing daily routines. They're showing their relationship with the animals. It's so cool. And I think like there's that. Here's the question I ask myself that I want to think about is where's the business opportunity?
Mm.
Okay.
So yesterday, and this is why I came in today.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about Farm Weaver and all these people, and I asked this question, and this is the question that is driving and burning in my spirit. Walmart, Target, Amazon. I remember when there was no Amazon. I'm old enough to remember when there was no Amazon, and I know how Amazon started. It started in a realm that I was in, publishing. They came into publishing, undercutting the market, right? So wholesale, if you're a Borders or a mom and pop store, the book costs $20, you get it for $10, you sell it for $20, you make your profit. Amazon sold that book for $9.99. I said, oh, wait a minute. And then of course you're gonna buy the book for $9.99, not $20. And they were losing a penny.
Mhm.
They built a business on destroying a whole entire market and destroying themselves, but they were smart enough to recognize that money's not real. So on their books, they can have a deficit that's $1 billion, which they did. For a long time, they were in the red for a long time, but they built that into
I
their
remember
business
that.
model. And I said, how diabolical is that? Because most of us were raised in economics class, supply and demand. You make more than you spend, and that's how they were like, nah, I'm gonna lose money to take these people out of business. And then I'm going to come in with this master plan of selling everything online. And they did that. So my question yesterday, Omi and Cameron, was what does that look like today? And how do we reverse
Oh.
it? If I'm starting a business today, instead of chasing algorithms and clicks and eyeballs and how do we market to people, why don't we think about what do people need and then serve them? And instead of scaling and getting the next round of funding and undercutting the market and who can we put out and who can we dominate, what if we just over index on serving people what they need?
Okay, can I give a slightly different take on that Amazon part story though?
Sure.
So yes, everything you said, 100% what happened. And what they also did was they did a full test run on becoming something else.
Mhm.
Amazon is a logistics and cloud company.
That's right.
So while they are like, people look at them as like products, but they're actually not a product company at all. They're a logistics and cloud company. They make the majority of their money from cloud services.
Right.
And so what they did with the test run with all the books was looked at this is another way to look at it. Absolutely what Karen said and the damage that happened is true. And I'm saying that like in this broader lens, it is like, how do we take in a realm where people buy this thing already, right? Like take something that people are going to already buy because people are already into it. How do we take that and figure out how we deliver on it faster? Like how do we deliver on it quicker? How do we sell this thing that everybody's buying across multiple markets in a way that allows us to learn logistics? And then we'll pop out, we'll add other things, and then we become a logistics company. And that's essentially what they did. And they reshaped human behavior in the process.
That's what I'm
which
saying.
is
No,
So
their goal was total world domination.
yes.
What I'm saying is that's bad for all of us, right? I'm saying that doesn't help society. What I'm saying is if I'm starting a company right now, I want to do the exact opposite. So full disclosure, I'm getting back into publishing. As I'm putting together my infrastructure, my edict to myself is I will never sell my books through Amazon. Now, okay, well, how do
Wait.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
This is my resistance. And
Okay.
any sense on pay. This is what I'm saying. Like if you're really here to do a thing, then you can't. If you're centering always money and domination and power, you will get there. Yeah, the universe is agnostic. It's gonna bless you however you want to be blessed. What I'm saying is for my soul, I can't sit in something if my only goal is to dominate and to make money. And I'm not leaving anything behind. Yes, we'll know Bezos' name forever. At what cost? At what cost? And I think if it comes to books that need to get into people's hands, I'd rather create a system where people are in community more, where we can bless the mom and pops and the Black-owned bookstores, the people that are struggling right now with having books in their hands, that people have to go into their store, where we have to have events in their store, where we can come together around these books. And I'm just taking books as a thing, but it can be, cleaning products or what, like we can build community around the things that we need. And then everyone has, and it's not one person that's a trillionaire pulling the levers of power for all of us. Like this is how we start snipping the cord off of the marionette game that they're playing with puppets right now in somebody else's puppet show. I'm like, I got my scissors.
I know I would say this when you think about how do we reverse? No, you got this. No, you got the props.
Yeah.
That
was I have scissors on my desk. All right.
You got to cut the cords. You never know where they are. When you think about reverse engineering and something that I think was somewhat breezed over, but was so critical that allowed them to build the way they built, was the need not to make money. Hey, I can lose a penny. I can have loss leaders. Like I think music and movies and Amazon Prime Video is a loss leader to get people just to on Prime. And what's the opposite of the online connection is the in-person connection. I think most businesses have to position themselves, if you're talking about starting a new business in this day and age, if the goal is to kind of reverse what we're having, is instead of offering online connection, how do we over-index into in-person real connection? How do you have a business that services real people? But then also, how do you have enough capital or enough lead time to over-index in serving people probably at a loss? Usually when something is more high touch, that usually means it's more human interaction, more human, more people, more logistics. It's something that physical in-person things normally cost a lot more than online. So that means your capital stream needs to also, or your investors need to also understand but the value there is you're retraining human behavior, or you're tapping into something that is so human that when I do have a physical interaction and I consistently show that value in whatever your service or business is, when I do show that value, it awakens something that is naturally in every human. We're a communal species.
Yeah.
My other guest is in it, which is perfect time for him to come. No, hold on, hang tight. This
We
is
could do four.
perfect
Can we do four?
time because we could do like up to 6 people, 10 people, something like that. But we
Oh,
don't
it's
have
a
that many
party
people. But
this
I'm just
morning.
saying, he does the same work I do. We do similar work in like supporting small business owners. So I think this part of the conversation though is where it's really good, because why people get into business is what we're talking about, right? Like, why do you get into business? Then, to be honest with you, I don't think these people are thinking nothing about it. Like I don't think that Jeff Bezos is thinking about impact, and I think that
No,
we're
he's
thinking
not.
about
He's
impact.
soulless.
He
This is
doesn't
my
care.
point. This is
And
my
I think
point.
that a lot of these, I don't think there's such thing as the ethical billionaire, so there's that. Then I
Correct.
think that these why people get into business. Now we talk about the business, the stories we were talking about with Pinky and Fawn and Amico and Pat McGrath and all these different people who are now like having these different business challenges. There is also this like hunt or thirst for scale, right? You get in, you come up with something, and I gotta scale it. I gotta make it bigger. I gotta get more of it. And I think like it's a luxury to not have to think that way in some instances. And
Mhm.
how do we want to? What does that look like? So it's a luxury to even have the choice to say I'm not gonna be on Amazon, right? Like I think it like depends on where you're starting from.
It's not a luxury. It's a sacrifice and a commitment. And again, because I actually do plan 50 years out. I have a 50-year plan, right? So if you can back map where you want to be in 50 years to what you need to do right now to get there, then that's the sacrifice, right? And not everyone can do it. We sacrifice so many things anyway. On me and Cameron, we sacrifice a lot of things, especially if you have children, if you have family members. You're already making sacrifices in your life. Some of us have made career choices that were sacrificed to help people in our lives. Why not create the kind of business that you feel good about, that's not always chasing a dollar? And I know it's counterintuitive, and I know it's because we're all about profit.
But business is about making money. So
Is
how
it?
do you create? It is.
Is
It
it
is.
purely that? Because I know Henry Ford, who was a horrible person, decided that I'm going to make my cars affordable for the people who are actually making them. He could have not leaned into that. Those people still would have put them widgets on and the wheels and all that other stuff. But he understood that if I'm going to
He
be
still
around,
had to make money.
if I'm going to be around, though, I need to serve the people who are actually building the cars, and I need to do it differently, than robber barons of the time. And he did. Like there's so many examples of that. But yeah, no, you're not wrong. And I've always said I'm not in business. I don't do radio. I'm not in business. I don't run a business. So, while I'm a serial entrepreneur, I'm not actually running a business, and I don't do radio. What I'm doing is actually purpose and mission. So I can move about a little bit more,
And I'm saying I think that's amazing. I still think it's a privileged position to be able to speak from.
No.
do.
Can I say something?
Because
there
not
about-
everybody can do that. Like
here, Omi
Not
and
everybody can do
Karen. When
that.
I think about what Karen's saying there, some businesses have a mission. That does not mean the business doesn't need to make money and won't focus on making money so it can still be a business. But the business's focus is like, hey, I need to maximize profits. That doesn't necessarily need to be everybody's business. You can create a business that says, hey, I want to make $200,000 a year off this business. That's what I want in my life. I need to get somewhere around $200,000. Now,
and
along
even
that,
to do that, you're still gonna have to figure out how to
saying-
maximize profits. Like it's not.
No, not true.
You can hold more than one thing at a time. Yeah, you don't. It doesn't have to be. You got to be the devil or you got to make money. Like you can hold more than one thing at a time.
Yes,
No, but I'm saying that the
maximizing
focus of the
profits.
business doesn't need to be maximizing profits.
But for you to continue to exist, what I mean by maximizing profits, y'all are taking it somewhere else, right? Like even let's say the auto parts example, right? He still has to think about where to get the best parts.
Let's take a real
That's
example.
maximizing profit. Like it's not a matter of like it got to be the worst person or the best person to maximize profits.
Let's take a real example. I mean, that's a real example. We're in one, right? So SiriusXM, we're on this, right? And there are many different money ways, many different ways to make money on SiriusXM. We have an advertising situation with them. And the advertising, and this from business, the advertising money has diminished greatly over the last 4 or 5 years, greatly. Now, if I were in business, I would not do my radio show. Okay, let me just be 100% because it's not maximizing the amount of energy that I put into this show every day is not showing up in the numbers and money, right? And there's not much I can do about it outside of, but I've made a decision that the radio is more important to have the audience, and that audience is going to do many different things, right? Whether those of us who got books like Clay Kane, you're going to have a best-selling book, right? And that helps you financially in other ways, right? If you are on tour, your tour is probably going to sell out because you now have an audience. These people are going to go follow you in different places. You can figure out, Larry just started a Sankofa community. So while we aren't becoming millionaires on the radio, yes, there is a way to serve people and then at the same time not be diminished, Cameron, financially, because there are other ways to do it. But that's not the soul. If we all got on there thinking, oh, we're gonna make all of this money, and where's the money and what? Because we've had hosts that's like, I can't work for that amount. And it's like, okay, then this is not your space. And you don't get what this is, and you don't understand that it's service first. But the service then brings the other things if you're doing it right. So but you're not wrong on me. And Cameron, absolutely, I see you. All right.
The Henry Ford example that you gave is an example of caring about people and maximizing profits is my point. And so what I want to make clear to the audience is you could do both. So because you being able to say, I don't need to make money off the radio like that is a privilege. Like I can't say that. I can't be like, I'm gonna leave BGV and go just be on the radio. And even if the advertising revenue dips, it's fine. I can't say that.
Okay.
But there's a space in between when you say the word maximizing. Yeah, when you say maximizing, I think it's the word maximizing that's where I get caught up, is that you can focus on profits, you can look for profits, you can hit a profit number. There's things you can do to always maximize. I could cut corners different places. I could scale to a place. I could cut back to staffers to maximize profits. I can still make profits, but I don't have to maximize. That's why I see it.
The challenge is in the word maximize, because to me, maximize doesn't have to inherently be bad.
No, I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm saying it's the focus.
Like, it sounds like I gotta make the most money possible.
It's the focus.
No,
that's not. Maximizing is
to me. That's not what it means, and I think that's what we're in disagreement. Right. Saying I gotta maximize it, because even having an audience, even saying I'm going to build an audience, right? Even saying I'm going to focus on building an audience, what that audience can then do after that is a form of maximization, right? Because if you got an audience, then you can sell them things, they can buy things, they can come to play. But you can decide, I'm going to sacrifice over here because I'm going to build an audience. And when I build this audience, then my audience could do this. It's strategy. I'm not exactly sure that maximize has to mean that you're demonizing at the same time. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying maximize is good or bad. Maximizing means the most.
Right. That's
so to me,
yes, I agree.
But I don't have to get the most to still get what I want.
But the most is what you define. So if the most for you is 200,000, then you got to do the most to get that 200,000. What you gonna do for it?
I think we are seeing it differently.
We're definitely seeing it different. I'm gonna bring up.
I need to go, but I want to say thank you. Hi, Preston. Nice to meet you. I'm dipping out. Cameron, we should do lunch.
Are you in New York?
Yeah, we can. I'll be in actually on Monday. Let's holler at me. Make the introduction on me. All right.
Okay, I will.
Appreciate you.
Right. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Welcome, Preston. Somebody that might understand what I'm saying.
Can you hear me okay?
Huh?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good morning, Preston. How are you doing?
Hey, Cam, how you doing?
Weigh in. What are your thoughts on what you heard so far?
Let it die. Let it die.
No, Preston is a business person. We do similar work. So go ahead.
Yeah, I was listening, and I was trying to see where she was trying to go. The whole conversation about maximizing profits, and I think it's really about it's you want to drive revenue, right? You want to drive revenue in your business as much as you can, and when you maximize profits, obviously you have some decisions you need to make that can um, maximize your profits or make the profits good, right? So if you have a choice between I'm going to keep 10 people on my team, or I'm going to keep 8 people on my team, or 5 people on my team to maximize my profits, I think from her perspective, it's like, I'm going to keep all 10 people, even if it means that my profits are going to be $10,000 on a $200,000 revenue, right?
And
And
that's
then
crazy
you,
to me. That's
right,
that. I think that is like,
I understand that. I understand
yeah,
that.
that's
But,
why I'm like, nah, we just gonna have to disagree.
yeah, I'm like, well, if you make it $200,000, right, and so you want to put $50,000 or $75,000 in your pocket as profit, right? Because that increases the value of the overall business. That increases the value of the overall business. And so, a lot of conversations I have with entrepreneurs is that if I ask you, what is the value of your business? What is the valuation of your business? And you say, well, I make $200,000 a year and blah, blah, blah. But your profits, if you have expenses and everything else of $180,000 and you have $20,000 profit, that means the value you have diminished the value, the overall value of your
Mm,
business. Therefore, if you ever decided, let's say, as an owner of that business, you want to sell your business, you have not put the highest value of your business in front in order for you to maximize that. All that time you put in building that business, you haven't maximized the valuation of it. So therefore, the if you're an owner and the whole key, I mean, you know this, right? It's like we want to own businesses, we want to own homes, we want to own, real estate. So it's all about how do I maximize the value of what I own so that if I have leverage, right? Because I have leverage with that asset. And so if you don't maximize the value of that asset, um, and so that you can do other good, which I am okay with, but you could probably do more good if you maximize the value of your business so that you can leverage that value, right? You can go and get a loan against that and then go do more. You know what I mean? And so I think it's a more complex conversation. And I think it was something that Karen was really sort of missing, and getting caught up in wordplay and missing the point of what is the true valuation
what's
of
the
this,
value?
you know
Yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
I like that.
Yeah.
Way more articulate
So,
than I am.
I mean,
But I would say I appreciate that. I think also I'm just not into one of the things is that there's so many lives being lived and so many business owners starting at so many places. And maybe because of where I sit and seeing these business owners, I'm real careful about how I talk about sacrifice. Because for some of these people, and we know this person because we see this all the time, like they are literally doing everything they can, right? And they don't have another way. There's
that's right.
no other way for them. There's no, especially right now. Last night, a friend of mine, she said, "We're living in a world right now where starting your own thing and getting a job have the same weight right now. They're equally scary. You may not be able to get a job. You may not be able to start your thing. Like both of these things have the same risk right now. It's crazy, and
Yeah.
that is
You
something
think
that,
so?
yeah, they do. Because people are laying people off left and right. And in the job market, it's taking people like a year to just find another job. The employment market is terrible right now.
Yeah.
So it is. I'm careful. Also, I think we got to be careful about identifying what our privilege is. And like we don't talk about this enough as Black folks because it is Black automatic underprivileged, right? Like that is like, and okay, yes, and like underprivileged like against white people, right? But like if we go like let's talk about, because to be able to say like the people, and I love Karen. I want to be clear. I have the highest respect for her and for our host on Urban View Mornings. But let's break it down a couple ways, okay?
Right.
Karen already had a foundation of her own, and she's built it over the course of all the work that she's done, right? She owns homes, things like that. Okay, yeah, great. You can say that, right? Like, Larry is married. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and that doesn't mean her husband's making all that she needs, but it's like, hey, you got somebody. You know,
Yeah.
I think like, you know, I don't know Clay's full situation, but like he got 2 best-selling books at this point. Y'all got something to fall back on, right? I don't have nobody in my family, and not to make it super personal, but I'm just saying nobody in my family can take care of me. So
Right.
let's be real clear. Like, if Black Girl Ventures didn't work out, well, I was gonna have to figure it out. You know what I mean? I don't own a home. I'm not married. You know what I mean? So like you gotta like put things in perspective. Like, so the equity that somebody else may have built off to up to live to the point of, Kim, you made a point earlier about how these companies we're seeing, these startups, they're starting in the red and they know it. And they're able to do that over the course of time because they're sleeping on each other's couches or they're having some big, infusion of capital that comes to them. For everybody online, I want the audience to hear me clearly. For everybody online talking about how they can make you $1 million, they're not telling you how they made $1 million. They're telling you what they would have done to make $1 million had they had another opportunity to do it. And if you go to all these free webinars they do, you'll hear in the background, there's always somebody that gave them an infusion of capital.
Oh,
Because I'm
absolutely.
sitting there like, okay, you had $0 and you did what now? Like,
Yeah.
oh no, somebody gave you $20,000. Your somebody gave you, like, my mom gave me $10,000 when I started one of my first companies, right? Like, that's an incredible privilege. It came from her retirement, right? And,
Right.
and me paying her back wasn't me giving her cash in hand. I gave her a job for 5 years. Like, it is, I think we got to think about, there's so many lives being lived. So I'm not apt to be telling people to sacrifice. What I will say is I think we can promote positive aspects of community in ways that hold complexity and nuance, and say we can be ethical. And because even if we say, if Karen says, okay, Henry Ford was a terrible person, however, he also did these great things with his employees, and then here we are with the Ford Foundation and Ford being one of the top car companies, like all that, somewhere in there, somebody also didn't think he was doing the right thing. Somewhere in there, somebody also was like, oh, F him. Like, it happens. So I
Yeah.
think it's, what models do we have to find ethical billionaires? I don't think there's one. But if you just want to be a 200,000-aire, do your thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Do your thing. Ain't nothing
there's
wrong
some-
with that. But
No, I think
I
there's
want to be a
targets you can set.
$500,000 at least.
Well, for me,
Like, at
for
least.
me, I would get. I understand it. I do, and I think part of my role and our role, if somebody says to me that I want to build a $200,000 business, I'm like, okay, I get that. And one of my questions at some point in time is going to be, why just 200,000? Why are you, before I call it a limit, right? I want to understand why they came to just $200,000 if you're going to try to build a business, because we all know, like, the blood, sweat, and tears of doing any kind of business from scratch is, God knows, is way more than $200,000, right? In terms of what you put in. You talk about sacrifice, the time away from family, the time away, the weight that you're carrying to build that. I don't care what space you're in, the weight that you're carrying to build a business, and then you say, I just want $200,000. I'm going to ask, why? Why are you putting a limit? Are you scared? Or is that something that you don't, that it does scare you, or it's too big, or that's all I need right now, or whatever? Why not? Why isn't there a bigger picture for what you want to build? Right?
Preston, can I say something to that? I think we're. I definitely see and understand and feel where both of you all are coming in terms of the concept of building a business and what you're building it for. One, the value of the business, and when a lot of people who are solopreneurs go into something, they almost commingle in their head what the business makes and what I make to take home to pay my personal bills and things of that nature. I think at least where I was coming from, I won't speak for Karen, but where I was coming from would even throw in a number like, hey, say I just want to make $200,000. It's not saying I need to build a business valued at that. It is saying, at least I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that as a, if this business generates a personal revenue stream for me that allows me to spend $200,000, is that the most I ever want to make? No. I've totally acknowledged it probably takes so it's if you can do something that can spin off 200 grand, more than likely you put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, you put a lot into it. And so you would want it to do more. You may be able to drive more and more of that revenue back in the business to grow, to create more opportunity. And and you actually own more. Hey, I might want to make this business 10x its size. I'll still only take a $200,000, even as the business grows around me and could afford to pay me 500,000. I'll take $200,000 salary, maybe leave that value back in the business. And as I continue to grow my business, and then I'll cash out later if I sell it or pass it along or things that other bring on other investors at a higher level. But I think there are plenty of people who have in their mind a number. This is a hiring thing. I'm curious to this. When I've hired people, especially as I've been either more independent, even when I was at a firm, but building out my practice within the firm, and definitely now, as I look at partners or I look at people I want to work with, I always ask this question. I was like, "What's the number that you're in your head?" Because there's a number in somebody's head. It changes. But I was like, what do you want to make? They were like, well, yeah. So most people are a little cagey about that. Like, no, right now, when I ask that question, there's an immediate number that pumps to your head, or at least a range. Say that first thing. Don't take the filter off. And if I say, hey, I can get you there, I can get you close to there, or I can't get close to there, you want to start there, because that's where they've built up in their head. I just need to make this, or I really want to make this, because once you satisfy that need of like the number, you at least hopefully until usually you at least hopefully get more of their focus, because you're like, you know what, I'm getting you your number. So now you can focus all in on this business, or you can focus all on in this project. Like, what is it, the number, whether it's project based, but especially if it's salary based, but then it evolves. Because I had a number for years. I was like, if I make $110,000 a year for like almost my entire 20s, that was like
I
so
actually didn't
stone.
have a number, to be honest with you. I've made, I didn't have a number. I need to make more than I make now because I can't make it. Okay, so again, let's
Even when
talk
I
about
couldn't make
let's
it,
talk
I
about
said the
different
same
level
thing.
of lives being lived. And I think sometimes we just assume a lot of things. So I try to be careful and as nuanced as I can, because I know what I was thinking and it wasn't what you was thinking. So I
No,
wasn't
this is when I
thinking
was struggling. When I was making $29,000 a year
I
working
wasn't
Capitol
thinking.
Hill,
I was just thinking.
I
I
was
just
still
need
it.
more. I need more money than this. That's what and maybe this is where my capitalistic side comes in terms of like what y'all are talking about maximizing profits. I just knew I needed more than I had, and I need to make more than this. And then I think like, and maybe this is, and this is a vulnerable share in the sense that like this may be a place where I wasn't digging deep on like possibilities, because I just was feeling at such a detriment. I was feeling in such so in the red or so in the negative that I just was like hunting down more than I had, but didn't really have like a defined, it got to be limited like this. So I was always going for like, okay, well, if this job pays me this, then like this job pays me 10,000 more, and I can take this job and I need to take that. Okay, I'm making 10,000 more at this job, but like over here, this side hustle gives me $5,000 on top of this 10,000 I'm making. Then like, okay, then I'm taking that and I'm taking this. Okay, got it. And then I got these things, and then my bills at this level, and then I'm gonna take what I got from over here, and the whole time I'm working my ass off, right? But like, so when I'm talking about maximizing, this is the life that I'm describing to you, right? At that point, I wasn't maximizing. I was just trying to bring in this and then bring in that and say, okay, how could I live, right? And I'm like, nah, this ain't gonna work. I can't live like this. I need to actually sit back and try to maximize. And in that case, think about like, sky's the limit on what I can make. But how it wasn't even about money. One thing I want to pull back to and say is when Karen started out describing what she was describing, she said, why do we need the Walmarts or the Amazons or whatever? And I think that like the mindset up against that mindset will never equal us out. And that's what we got to think about. So the mindset of the person that goes, I'm going to get everything I possibly can. I'm going to dominate to the fullest extent of life is always going to bulldoze the mindset that says, well, I just want to make 100,000 and serve my community. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying it just is. Now, if there's a way to like overwhelmingly have people who just want to make 200,000, I don't know. Because even if you make 200,000, what is the business? Because okay, to get to 200,000, you got to be at least at 5 million. If you're running a healthy business with employees and all that, and you serve a community, you need to be at least 5 million as a company for you to even just be bringing home 200,000, right? So there's a difference here to valuation, to like numbers, and to power.
Yep.
The more capital that you're making, the more rooms you get into. If you get into those rooms, because you're gonna start seeing things. And this is the part that nobody talks about. That I don't know why we don't talk about this part. When you start making more money, you start getting the private. Okay, good.
Talk to me about it.
You start getting the private clubs, and you start being like, oh, that's what they doing over here.
No, that's what. No. That's where I am. That's why I said that 110,000. And mind you, that 110,000 was a number just because I heard 6 figures. I didn't. No one in my circle were making 6 figures as a child. We were making it with love, but we were making it. My first part of my career was, like I said, I was making 29,000, and I think I got bumped up to like 38,000 and got bumped to 42,000 working on Capitol Hill, having 2 side hustles and waiting tables and like collecting. I was like, I just want one place to make $100,000 a year. When I got there, I realized like, oh, I'm just still paying bills. I don't even feel it. Then it was like, then my goal was, oh, I need 180, 150, 180. And then that started to get 200. I blew past 200 years later into my late 30s, early 40s. And when I hit that, I was like, all right, now I feel comfortable, but I start moving a different way. And then you see like, yo, it costs me that much more money to move the way I like to move. And you create new goals. That's who I am. Everyone's not like that. There are people who are quite content with the life they are trying to build, and they've either framed it out, mapped it out, or even if they see more, it's like, that's a nice thing to experience, but what it takes to get there, I may not be willing to do. So I like where I'm at.
Yeah, so I would, I mean, we can go even deeper with this. And Omi said the key word, right? It's about the mindset, right? And many of us, I would say historically for our communities have come up in environments where the vision and the mindset are, and it's no blame, right? It's just when you grew up, did you have that mindset? Did you have that vision of what you could be or what you wanted to be in life? And then what it would require to go ahead and do that. Right. I'm no different than you, Cameron. I came up and I had a piece of paper where I wrote down, this is what I want to do. And, like you, by the, late 20s, early 30s, you look at it and you be like, okay, I'm gone past this. What's next? So I had to sit back and come up with a new vision of what I wanted for Preston James and what I wanted for life. And so I think it's incumbent upon us as leaders is that we have to inject that mindset, a different mindset, right? To be able to see, I mean, I can tell you, Omi and I go back, I don't know, but 16, 17, 18 years to see where we both started, where we were coming from, and where we are now, where you are now, right? It's like, it's mind-blowing, right? And it's you didn't let anything get in your way. I mean, things got dropped in your path big time, right? And you navigated through that. You persevered, resilience, all that, discipline. But we need to inject that early into the next generation of folks that are coming behind us to understand like how we navigate with a different mindset, with bigger visions, And for me, it's all about when you really get down to it, right? We've got to do much better in terms of ownership of assets within our communities, right? And that
Mhm.
ownership, I think, lends itself to the word that you said earlier was power, right? And it allows you to get into rooms where decisions are being made, money is moving, things of that sort. We need to get there, right? And so, to me, kind of going back to that step when somebody says, "Hey, I just want my business at 200 grand," that tells me immediately they don't have that mindset. They might be at a certain stage in life where they don't have that bigger mindset or understand that they can do more, no matter what their situation is, right? Let's help them create that pathway. Let's help them create that vision for something bigger. That this is not it, and accelerate their path, right? I don't want you to wait 5 years to realize, oh, damn, I just surpassed my goal of 5 years ago. I want you to see that path and I want you to take that path. So I think that's ultimately what our responsibility is as leaders to be able to do and exemplify.
Yeah. Well, tell them a little bit about your about Divink, what you're working on there, because I think we just jumped into conversation. So I definitely want everybody out there to know. Plus, people out who are watching the show definitely are in that Austin area and some other areas that you might be working in. So, one, thank you so much for joining us. One, and thank you for jumping into the conversation in the way you did. Like you had to come in hot because we was already getting into it. But I really appreciate you. And so, talk to the people about what you got, what you're working on.
So what I have going on, so one of the reasons, so there's two reasons I wanted to come up on this show. One, I haven't seen you in a long time, and I wanted to say hello, right? Give you a virtual hug and all of that. So I appreciate this opportunity. The second thing I don't know if you know this or not, but just to give a little background, I was a co-founder and CEO of Divink, which essentially was an ecosystem nonprofit.
Wait, I hear you saying was, because now you're making me nervous. What you about to announce?
So
Go
what?
ahead. I say you making me nervous because you using past tense terms.
Come on now, come on. I got you though.
Okay.
So you'll be okay. You'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were an entrepreneur ecosystem builder, specifically for underrepresented tech startup founders. And then we helped, launch over 150 companies. Those companies raised early stage capital around $28 million. And then we also launched 3 years ago a paid internship program, right? And so in the last 3 years, and that's specifically targeting underrepresented college students, right? And then we're placing them in companies that are in our portfolio. So the students are getting entrepreneurship, tech, as well as our paid internships. And so really trying to drive economic mobility and wealth generation through business ownership and career pathways in education. And so we've been doing that for the last 10 years. It became a nationwide platform. And after all of that, we put a succession plan in place. So, I have just rolled off as last week. I rolled off as the CEO of Divink. So, put my 10 years in and I'm getting ready.
My friend, we have to talk.
I'm getting ready for the next chapter. But I'm going to be on as a founder, strategic advisor for Divink. So I'm not going anywhere, but I am moving to the next chapter. Which I'm excited about. And I'm trying to figure out that pathway there. But in a nutshell, my focus is going to be on systems change that expands equitable access to the foundational systems, right, that enable economic mobility and generational wealth. So if you think about things like education, capital access, healthcare, home ownership, future of work, entrepreneurship, Um, I want to create systems change in that space to expand participation for demographics who have historically been excluded from those areas. And my pathway to go do that is to be working with foundations, venture philanthropy, family offices, and capital forward, organizations that are serious, right, about creating systems change in those spaces. And so I'm moving to the capital side.
Listen,
Nonprofit.
that's what we always want to be. That's the dream right there. For real. That's the dream. So first of all, let me say this. Thank you for the immense amount of value that you have added to the ecosystem at large. Thank you for the time, the energy, the effort, the strategy, the coaching hours, the times these founders be calling us all like we family, or becoming family for a lot of them. I mean, like, I just want to say thank you. I think the work, I know what that work is firsthand. We've been right alongside each other on this highway, and I would say, just thank you for the time that you put in. We should talk because I'm having similar thoughts, and I think the time that we're in right now calls for a market to respond to the market differently. And what has the work that the 10 years I've been racking my brain, so I've been spending the last 2 months. People ask me this all the time: how is the current climate impacting BGV, and how is it impacting me? And I've been spending the last 2 months racking my brain over strategy and what should I do, how should I move it, how should we do whatever. And I'm coming to similar conclusions that you're at right now, and I'm looking at how to move it in different ways. And inside of that, I was feeling had some sadness around even having to think this way, right? And even having to think about what it means to have to move differently. But there are trillions of dollars right now locked up in donor advised funds. And so when we talk about the work that we can be doing, especially, to be honest, I love the idea of, like, if you had the privilege of not worrying about money to like going and starting something where you just focus on community, love that. However, there are other realms to be working in that need us to be there to unlock capital that is just staying, because we're in the middle of the greatest wealth transfer we've seen yet.
Ever.
And here's the reality: the children of these billionaires, multi-billionaires, they don't care. They don't like what their parents did. Right. They're not into the same level of things that their parents were in. Right? Like, they're not into it. So, but they're also scared to move because they're like, they don't want to do anything wrong. So their parents may have done the maximizing profits thing, and now here they are inheriting $100 billion, and they're like, but I just want to be a good citizen. So then they'll go work for a nonprofit for no pay. And it's like, but you're sitting on billions that you could be moving into the very community that's serving through the nonprofit you're serving. We need you to move that money. That's right. There's work to be done in that realm that I think that if you're out there and you have the privilege of just building an audience, like, consider building that $1 billion audience for the children who really don't care about what their parents did and they're not into it. They're a new generation of billionaires who care about ethics, who care about climate, who care about community, and they want to do good in the world. But if we sit on this eat the rich, we won't even see them. Yeah. And there's a missed opportunity there to maximize capital that just needs to be moved, not even capital that needs to be earned. I think another mindset piece is we always thinking about capital earned. Yeah. We need to earn it. We need to build it, earn it, build it, earn it, build it. It's like, hey, you might just be good at moving it.
Yeah.
And if you're good at moving it, we need you over there moving it.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to add to that. And you know this as well as I do. I think a lot of people who are in a position to deploy capital don't necessarily know really where to deploy it, right? And they don't necessarily understand the core issues and the challenges like the folks who've been in the trenches, have been doing the work.
What do you mean that? can you pull on that in terms of the people who know about deploying capital and movement? Because I think there is in moving of capital always is a like a capital event. It is where money you're able to make money when capital are moved from one place to the other. But when you say don't know really where to deploy it, where should people deploy it? Because I think most of our listeners, I would dare to say, are coming from a place where they're not like capital rich. Maybe they got tens of thousands at most, but we're not. I don't think our audience is like, oh, we are all the billionaires or 100 millionaires listening to that. So when people are thinking about moving capital, I'm pretty sure most are saying, how does that capital move to me?
Well. What I would say too is like you need to be informed. So I think what I do want you to answer that, but I'll just add a little bit of context here that like we're not necessarily, and we don't know who's listening because I do have some fairly wealthy people that follow me. But I'll just say that like the what I would say around that, Kim, is we're not necessarily talking what Preston I think is referring to is insight more so than like, hey, if you out there, you need to move your capital a certain way. It's more like the insight around knowing that there's capital that needs to be moved, and there are people sitting at higher levels saying, I don't know where to move it to. And part of I don't know is not a literal I can't go and Google someone. It's I don't know what to trust about where I want my capital to go, such that it's going to have the impact that I want to have in the world. And that could be from investment, that could be from philanthropy, there's multiple layers of that. And I think sometimes we do a disservice to our community when we're only talking to them about what's available in lower capital realms. It's like, we need y'all to understand that like there's so much money out here, whether it's immediately available to you is another conversation. But there's so much money available, and here's what's happening in that realm. When you have an understanding of like, here's what's happening in that realm, you're able to also live a little bit more unlimited, I think, and understand the possibilities of what jobs you could possibly go and get. So to my point, you might not be a ground builder, right? You might want to be that 200,000 there, but if you do, you can actually go make it out for somebody that is trying to build a legacy and needs to move their money around. It ain't got to be that you got to go start some business and value it at 200,000 and only make 50,000. Like, it's like figuring out what other realms there are to live at, work at, what exists is important to come to our community. And I feel like that doesn't always come to our community in certain ways. But yeah, I'll toss it back to you, person.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I think you said a key word around trust. Where folks want to deploy their money, right? Whether it's a donor advised fund, or whether it's a foundation, whether it's a family office, there are specific things that they want to focus on, that they want to see do better, right? So whether it's home ownership or homelessness or affordable housing, whatever their streams of focus are, they want to help, right? I mean, that's part of what they want to do, and they have a lot of money that they're sitting on. But oftentimes, I find that they don't necessarily understand the underlying issues and the core issues to align their capital to a program or a nonprofit that's going to help solve that problem, right? So if you're trying to solve for homelessness, right, like what organization really understands the problem at its core? But do you understand the problem at its core, right? Because if you deploy capital, you want to see certain outcomes, right? You want to see certain outcomes happen. From my perspective, the outcomes that I want to see, I don't want to solve for symptoms. I want to solve for systems change, right? And so from my perspective, the programs that we create help people navigate systems, right? So my role with DivInc, we created, programs to help them navigate entrepreneurship. But has the system actually changed? All of us doing the work around entrepreneurship, we've created more opportunities, we've created more pathways, we've done the programmatic work. But I think you may or may not agree with me, but I think in order for systems to change, the incentives associated with those systems have to change because the incentives change behavior, right?
Yeah.
Incentives change behavior. So on the capital side, I think on the capital side, more so than on the programmatic side, has the ability to shape incentives, that has the ability to shape the structures. So with capital and programs together, working together, collaboratively, strategically, have the ability to create that systems change. And so that's my motivation, right? That's part of my motivation to move to the capital side, because we have to understand what incentives need to change in order to create that systems change, what structures need to change in order for the systems to change. Because the programs, I would almost bet, I'll bet a huge amount of money that a lot of the programs already exist that we need. They already exist, right? We need the incentives and the structures to change so that the systems can change overall. And because we're already creating the pathways and we're already creating the access, we're already creating, all of that through our nonprofits, we need other things to change. So it's to come out of those two. I want to move on the other side so I can make that happen.
And that's every nonprofit leader's dream too. Like you lead a nonprofit for a while, then you move to the side where you can just deploy capital. That is what we all want to be doing at some point. Like I think, and you feel that, like for those who run nonprofits, like you feel that energy because you've impacted thousands of people, and then you look up and like, how am I impacting thousands of people? But the needle isn't moving, but like at all. It's you're like, what is happening? It's because there's other systems that need to be impacted, and this is not. It's like we can impact this. So for us, right now we're launching an effort called Keep America Working. So. Because I realize in workforce development, everybody focuses on talent development. So there's like over indexing on talent. And there's not a lot of indexing on how do we support small business owners to be able to absorb the talent. So the only way for people in workforce who are taking in workforce development or getting trained, it's like, oh, just go be a home health aide, or just go be, and it's like, that's go work for security or something like that. It's like, but there's a ton of small business owners that need this support and need to hire people. So what does that look like, and how do we support that? So that's where we are right now. But we should talk because we're also launching an internship program. I would love to hear what your feedback or reflections are on how it went.
Absolutely.
But no, thank you so much for joining. Like, this is I'm so grateful to be able to talk to you this morning and sharing what you got working on. And like, good luck. And look, deploy some of that capital over here when you get to it. And let me
This is me. This is my bucket. This is my bucket, ready to take any capital you got.
Able and willing.
Yeah.
But I think but you're right. Like this and that is the work that needs to be done on the other side of the system.
Thank you. I just want to close out really quickly. You and I haven't seen each other in a while, and I appreciate your shout out and acknowledgement for my work. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me, given where we were when we first started. But I also want to say that you have always we indirectly have always supported each other, and I want to say that, and truthfully, that you've always lifted me and inspired me to continue to keep going. You know what I mean? It's like we're all working together in this pathway, and I can look over to my left, and there you are doing your thing that, directly, indirectly kept me going, lifted me up, and inspired me to do more. So I want to thank you too. So thank you for having me today, and much love to you, Cam. Great to meet you, man. I appreciate you. Keep going, brother. So thank you both.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna reach out to you. All right, we'll be talking soon. All right, have a good day.
All right, bye-bye.
How far back do you go with Preston?
Oh man, so I've been running BG for 10 years. So Yeah, I mean, we like Div Inc, BG, we all been like trekking, like I said, trekking alongside each other. So it's been a minute. I think I'm so appreciative of, and it makes me, I'm at the process. I need to process a little bit of him leaving Div Inc or moving on to the next thing because I think it's wonderful. And at the same time, I'm like, ooh. Okay, when I think about all the people that started out with me, Catherine Finney and Darlene Goddard, they were running Lord down in that they came out with Project Diane, but what's the name of the freaking Digital Undivided?
Oh, I've heard of
Um,
that.
you had um Walker's Legacy. You had what's the name of it? Brown. Dang, I can't think of it. Brown something. They're not around no more. Now Diving moving on to its next phase. It's like this is like we're talking about Black-owned businesses moving like shutting down or having challenges. We really need to pay attention to the ecosystem builders that are no longer operating in the same way that they used to, because this is what was upholding the layer of these businesses. People want to get into business. The ecosystem players that no longer exist or don't exist in the same way or aren't able to serve at the same level. Like we need to think about that. Like there's something is happening in that realm too, where this landscape is shifting all of us. No, Walker's Legacy and Digital Undivided, they
Walker's
they shifted a while ago. So this wasn't, they shifted maybe right after the pandemic.
Yeah. That's
They
when Walker's
shifted.
Legacy. So Walker's Legacy, Natalie is like a close friend of mine that started
Oh
Walker's
God,
Legacy.
really? That's a whole nother guy. I would not mention her name. Her name would not be mentioned on here, but I would say, shout out to what she did build, and we'll say that for the safety of everybody listening. But what I'll say is for those out there, if you see entrepreneurship organizations built around you,
I don't know
that
what
you
I'm
should
supposed to say.
absolutely donate to them, support them, because these people being around is very, very, very important. And these efforts that support everybody out there want money to move to them, and small business this, small business that, but like the ecosystem players are the people in the middle who are making sure that money gets moved to small business owners. And if we don't exist, then I think it's gonna be that much harder for some of these small business owners to keep going. Like it's a breakdown in an entire system. Like it's important. It's a breakdown in an entire system. For sure. Ibiye, we've had you've been holding for a minute. I'm so sorry.
Oh, we got another person? Oh,
yeah, and we got like
we got like
8 minutes
5
left.
minutes.
Oh, good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
I've thoroughly enjoyed the conversation and seeing Preston. It's nice to meet you, Cameron.
Nice to meet you. Is it EBA?
EBA, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
EBA. Where you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Houston, Texas right now.
H-Town?
Oh, so you definitely know about Div Inc. then.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We
Yeah.
actually won their award for Champion of Change in, I believe, 2023. So that was amazing because it was like the community, it was the community vote. So I was very, very appreciative of Preston and just the whole team. So very sad to see him leaving, but he has done such a great job, and
Amazing work.
I'm excited to see what he does next for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, executive director of Art Curatorial Inc. Tell us about Art Curatorial.
Yeah, so Art Curatorial Inc., we're an arts organization and we advance equity through the arts. We also expand career pathways for Black artists, and this is through like mentorships and fellowships and entrepreneurship. We actually just launched our mentorship program. The link is currently on our website at artcuratorialinc.com/mentorship, and that would be live May 4th. The forms are currently open for people who are interested. And for exhibitions, we actually have our flagship is in Austin, Texas. So that's where we're incorporated, registered. So Austin, Texas is home. And that's where I was part of the BGV cohorts. That's where I did the pitch competition. Austin, love Austin. So we currently have an arts exhibition there as well, which explores themes around transformation, ritual, and identity through the lens of 3 artists. So that's currently at the Austin Downtown Library. Beautiful space, for anyone who hasn't been. They have a gorgeous gallery. We're currently on the 6th floor. So if anyone is looking for some amazing art to check out, we're up there. It's South by Southwest. So there's like a bunch of tourists in the city. Amazing opportunity to check out what we have going on. But I'm mostly so excited about our mentorship program, which just opened a couple of days ago. So excited.
Awesome. And so what happens in the
Very
mentorship
cool.
program?
So in the mentorship, where they're going to get one-on-one mentorships with Austin Tech leaders, access to Adobe Suites and real-world project experience. So this is for people who are creatives who are wanting to expand that digital tech skill. So it can be people who are into video making, people who are into augmented reality, people who are into digital arts. So we provide the resources and we connect them with these Austin Tech leaders just so that they get that real world project experience.
Okay, how should people find you? How can they dial in? What can they follow?
Yes, you can find us on artcuratorialinc.org. That's our website. And specifically for the mentorship, it's right there on the website. You would see mentorship and you can click on there. And this is also open to community partners. So these are people who are organizations who are wanting to support as well. Everything is on there on our website. And then we're also the same on Instagram, Art Curatorial Inc.
Art Curatorial Inc. Okay, I want to make sure I get it right.
Very long, I know, but
No, it's fine. I'm just want to make sure.
Are you on socials too?
yes, we are currently on Instagram, Arts Curatorial Inc. And I can go ahead and actually just send that through the chat here so it's easy for everyone.
You should see it on the screen now.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, cool. Love this, and I think
I would heavily suggest Facebook and LinkedIn groups, because our art groups, both buyers and appreciators, those two platforms both have more ways to monetize and create groups around it. And it's just doing some of the deep data research around that. Like those are growing trending places for that. So as you think about how to tap into more people, whether it's for your internships, whether it's for people to donate and so forth, I would think about creating online community around this, specifically on Facebook and LinkedIn, because Instagram is harder to create community. It's Instagram's more like a news feed or a picture or a photo, an update place.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to create community, I would look at those two as you put your social plan together.
Perfect. Thank you so much. No, we're going to take that into consideration. We're definitely wanting to build more of a virtual audience because we have the people on ground, but virtual audience is where it's at. So I'll look into that. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for coming to BA. I'm sorry that we had that long conversation in the beginning, but it was hopefully you got something out of it, and we appreciate hearing about what you're working on at Art Curatorial Inc. And thank you for being a BGV alumni.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you going to South by Southwest?
I'm not this year.
Me either. I'm not either. So
Okay, cool.
I'm not. But we have a bunch of resources that I shared in our community chat. I need to figure out. Actually, I'm gonna share them on. Are you a part of BGV Connect?
Yeah. I see.
Okay, I'm gonna put them in BGV Connect.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I'm actually going to New York for the 1 Million Black Women, the Goldman Sachs one.
Oh, yeah. We work with them too, though.
Yeah. So
okay.
I see a lot of BGV alum there. So I'm so excited to see them in New York as well.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Today was a
today. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on that.
You can go.
Today was a great day. I don't
Right.
sound like you. No, I was just trying to follow up on South by Southwest. I just got 2 invites last night, and I was like,
oh man, I'll flood you with stuff. Are you going?
no.
Oh, I was gonna say I have a ton.
I haven't found a way to make money at South by Southwest in
Me
years.
either. Agree.
You know?
That's why I'm not going. It doesn't have ROI for me.
And it's it's not well. The fun of South by Southwest when I was in music promotion, like that, and that was early 2010s. All right, let's go. That was also in a different era, but we were I was working with music rappers coming up, so it's like, oh, go there, promote, do your thing. In this new era of digital work in this new era of political engagement and so forth, I feel like the South by Southwest like energy and brand has tapered off like
Oh
completely.
yeah, from what it was in like 2017 to
I'm talking about
now.
even before then. I was South by Southwest like 2010.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Because 27, I feel like once it got more corporatized and like firmly corporatized, the energy of it fell off because South by Southwest was always, at least what I even understood it in the like late 2000s before 2010, was it the undergroundness of it, if that's a word, the undergroundness of it is what made it appealing. Like this is the biggest underground thing you can do in the arts. And then it was like the biggest underground thing you do in the arts and the tech.
And then they
Whether you
had to
drop
do
it,
what? Maximize profits.
here we go.
Pull it in full circle. You know what I'm saying? I bet they wanted it to be the
All right.
biggest
You
underground
got me. You
thing
got me.
that can
You got
be.
me.
But they had to maximize profits. And sometimes when you do that, you fall off. So that's also real. I just think, again, complexity. We can hold multiple things. But, you know, I also do agree that if you're a billionaire, I don't think there's a such thing as an ethical billionaire. So
Is
I
there
agree.
ethical 100 millionaire? Like when
Possibly.
did the ethics fall off at what's the number?
Possibly.
Because if
The-
there's
I
an
think that-
ethical
I think-
millionaire,
I
but
think
an
after you get
unethical
to 100
billionaire,
million,
where in that,
that's when
what-
you start falling.
what, at 100 million?
I think so.
So so my goal is to get $98 million. So
Yep.
the
I mean,
only
you gotta do what
realizes
you
I'm
gotta do.
so
But
only
what I'm
realizes
saying is that it seems like an easy jump. It's not. You know what I mean? So like going from, because even think of all that Beyonce had to amass for the 1 billion. You know what I'm saying? Like the 1 billion. You know what I'm saying?
But it
Like
just
this is,
depends it also depends on what kind of business you're in and what kind of margins you make.
even from a tech perspective, for you to get to 1 billion, it's still a jump from 100 million. It's not like, oh, I make 100 million today. You know what? Yeah, now tomorrow I made $1 billion. Like it's not. I don't think that 900 million jump is. I think there's jumps that could be easy depending on what you're building. Because the more you take on, the more there's other things you're taking on too, right? So you know, now tech and scaling tech, you could probably get there fairly quickly. But yeah. Anyway, that's a deeper conversation about numbers. So shout out to everybody joining us. We still haven't figured out the closing for the show. Shoot for the moon. And if you miss,
No, let's try something else.
resist being average. No, it got to be like a phrase.
Oh, I got one.
Go ahead.
I got one.
What is it?
I got one. I got a quote. Oh man, this is supposed to be ready, but we can produce in real time.
Okay.
So I keep a quotes like thing just whenever I might need a little caption, a quote.
Ooh, maybe that's what we'll do too. Maybe like every other day you do one, I do one, you do one, I do it like that. Maybe we'll do that too.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We could always go classic. At the end of the day gonna end. That is always
At the end of the day, hey, you know what?
At the end of the show, the show go in.
There you go. At the end of the show go in. There you go. Everybody have a wonderful day. That's it. That's the one for me. Cause now I can't unhear. So anytime anybody goes, at the end of the day, my brain goes, the day go in.
They go in.
Like,
at the end of the show, the show go in.
Thank y'all so much for being here. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow.